So hi, I told some people on the internet I would show how I removed my top from my Jeep. So I want to start just kind of give you an idea of what I use to do this. I'm in my garage, and my garage is a disaster area. I've got several boys keep our toys, bikes, scooters, whatever you name it, it's out here. So forgive the mess, but that kind of goes to part of the reason I do my top this way. I don't have a lot of room in here. This gets it up out of the way. My wife can park her Gladiator in here. I can park the Jeep in here with the top in here. And as most Houston garages, this is a very small garage. There are no basements here, so it gives us some additional. But to start, I show you what I have. I went to Home Depot. This is just a 1x1 board. I drilled a hole in it and I anchored some eye hooks in the bottom and both ends of it. Got some pipe wrap, just wrapped around it. You can remove it, it's simple, easy. Then I also bought a 2x4, about the same. I'm 6 feet tall, so this is roughly 6 feet tall to give you an idea. The 2x4, I just put eye hooks in it. I'll use this, and then I've got 6 straps, and I'll show you the reason I use 6 straps. When it's all up, there's only actually 4 of them that are holding it, but in order to work around the spare tire, I'll show you how that works, but I've got 6 straps here. In the ceiling, I've got, if you can see in the ceiling, I'll try to avoid the light, but I put eye hooks in the ceiling. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. They are about the same distance, a little bit farther apart. I think they're 7 feet apart is what I've spaced them out at. They may be 8 feet, but I measured the width of the Jeep and tried to keep it as close to the sides as higher as I can, so the straps aren't pulling at an angle. They're kind of pulling straight up for the most part. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove my doors. To remove the top, you don't need to take the doors off, but in this case, it's October in Houston. It's finally getting cool enough you can take the top off. So anyway, catch you in a minute. So first off, this isn't really a how-to video, so I'm not going to go through every single step, but first off, I've got to remove the freedom panels from the front so we can get to the bolts. I usually just set my bag down here like this, put the driver's side in, flip the cover over, put the passenger side in, fold it up and zip it up. It works pretty well as far as that. And then after I remove the freedom panels and store them, I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolts. There should be 4 bolts on each side. There's 1 up underneath this freedom panel here, and then there will be 3 in the back, 3 on the other side, and then 1 on the other side underneath the other panel. And then of course the water connector, for the sprayer, and the electric connection in the back. So make sure to remove those, because those will obviously cause you issues if you forget to remove those. So I'll be back. Okay, so I started by backing the Jeep in here. I hang the straps up from the ceiling and let them hang down. That way, as I'm backing up, I can try to target as close as I can get to the center of them. Doesn't always. I'm probably a little bit this way. I'll probably move it a little bit before I pull the top off, but that's probably the most difficult part. And I took the doors off, so obviously I don't have the mirror, so that makes it even more challenging. But once I get to this point, I'll open my back tailgate, then I lift the glass, and then we'll swing the tailgate closed again. So the glass is open. Now this is a little bit risky. You definitely don't want to pull out, because if you do, obviously you're going to take out the garage door opener or the glass, or if you back up too far, you're going to hit here. So from this point, all your movements are just kind of slow and measured. Make sure everything is. At this point, I always double check to make sure my interior stuff is all disconnected, which it is, and stuck in the right place. So I'm going to line up a little bit better, and I'm going to back up in my garage just to where the straps are. So the back straps are kind of almost right at this corner here. But if I can get the straps right to this corner here, then I'll be pretty much ready to go. So let me back up and adjust my position. So probably not my best spotting I've ever done, but it's pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around. I'm going to walk around here and grab. I'm going to grab this first, the 1x1 that I had. Pretty simple. From this point, you know, I always have to kind of watch out for my garage door opener, but not bad. The top is relatively light, so what I'll do is I'll just put one hand under it and I'll lift it up. And then cautiously, I'll just slide this through and set it there like that. And I've got the protectant on there to kind of protect the top. If you're concerned about, I haven't scratched my roll bar, but if you're concerned about scratching your roll bar, you can just drop a towel around that. I haven't had any problems with it, so I'm not going to. But I just strap this, kind of pull it up a little bit, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll hook it and kind of pull it up. And I want to pull it up enough that you can kind of see how the back's coming up. So it's from this point, it's not going to be real difficult to hook the rest of the top. Now I'm going to try to adjust my camera here a little bit so you see the back side of it maybe a little bit better. So on the back side, so really why I have two straps here is I can't slide the 2x4 underneath this, because if I do, when I try to pull out, the spare tire is going to catch it. So I always put two straps here. And the first one, what I do is I'll stand behind and just kind of lift up on the corner of the Jeep. First off, I'm going to pull this a little bit snug. We'll lift up on the corner of the Jeep and just kind of hook that underneath the edge, just to support it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so I think you can see it in the video, but right now the top's pretty much just hanging here. There's nothing really supporting it, it's just hanging above the Jeep. So at this point, all I'm going to do is just double check, make sure I don't have anything in the way. I may pull the top up, just the front of it up just a little bit. And then from here, I'm just going to pull the Jeep out. So. Okay, so you'll notice this strap was hanging down and I did not want to catch that under the tire because that would be a catastrophe. So just if you have long straps like mine, watch where they are. Now at this point, it's pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I pulled it out, got the tire out of the way. I'm going to close the back glass. That'll make things easier. Now with these second straps that I've got hanging here, I'm going to kind of pull them up to where they're roughly where the bottom of the top is. And I generally like to put, I've got some pieces of, I've usually got different things I'll use, but sometimes I've got pieces of foam. In this case, I've got some foam bicycle or rubber grips that I'll put under here just to protect the top to make sure. But from here, I will set this down. I forgot to pull that one down. So I am going to hook onto that side and hook onto this side. Now, because of the way I've got it sitting, I'm going to start on the other side, just give it a little pull. Now we'll do this side. Now all I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the grip under here. That way, when I pull this, the top's actually resting on the grip. But I think I'm going to fold it over twice just to give it a little extra protection. And when I'm pulling it up, I usually just put my hand under it and give it a little lift on each side. Now you'll notice when you pull this up, the back one comes undone, which is just fine. You've got it supported on by the two before now. Now for my top, I want to shift it back as close to this as I can. So you may or may not need to do this. So what I'll do is typically I'll just grab the front and move the front over first, and then I'll start doing the same thing with the back and just kind of inching it forward. Now on mine, my goal is to get it, when I pull up on one side, the front's going to come up, and as I pull on the other side, it's going to push it back down. And from this point, you just walk around in a circle and you just start lifting up on everything until you get it as high as you can get it. Now the front, because of these straps, the front doesn't go as high as the back will. But I typically don't want to put it too much higher than this. So then this is about where I'll leave it. This is a pretty good location. It's really stable. These other straps, I'll just hook under here, just give them a little snug, just as a secondary measure, just in case something were to fail. Never had it, but so at this point, that is how I remove my top. It's definitely not as easy as some of the off-the-market cost. I think this total setup probably cost me $20, where the others are $1,000. And to be honest, I just didn't have a lot of room in here to do it. I could put an electric winch and that in the ceiling and lift it that way. That would be great. I just, most of the summer I leave the top on. It's just too hot here. In the winter it gets too cold, so you don't have a lot of time to keep the top off. So this is a great alternative. It doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, but it works fine. It works great. I'll leave it here. It allows me, I can pull my Jeep in frontwards. The Gladiator, I have to pull in backwards anyway, so it's out of the way of the Gladiator, and we can still use the garage. Last step, just take these and I'll throw those up there on top so they're out of the way. And then the big thing from here is just when you're walking out in your garage, just make sure you don't hit your head on there, because I've done that many a times. But anyways, thank you. Text me or send me a message if you have questions. Thanks.